Good morning and welcome to the No Filter Nuts and Bolts for Life After High School program. Thank you for joining us. I am Tammy Manko, the director of IUP's Career and Professional Development Center. I also want to introduce quickly our planning team. From IUP, we have Chris Corin and Danielle Hoover. From Aaron Intermediate Unit 28, we have Dr. Brigette Matson, Andrea Sheasley, and Victoria Tantlinger. And from Indiana County Chamber of Commerce, we have Mark Hilliard. Special thanks to two of my CPDC team members for doing a practice run with technology, aka Zoom, earlier this week, Kelsey Thompson and Dr. Bill Zimmerman. We have a fantastic lineup of speakers and panelists for you today. We are going to deliver only the parent and family member track today, and recordings of the student track sessions will be made available online. We will also be recording, as you know, the entire program for viewing by those unable to join us today. And the recording will also be there for anyone that may want to revisit a part of the program or view it again in its entirety. We ask that you please keep your audio muted and your video on if possible, so our speakers can see you. If you have questions, if something happens with technology, please rejoin the meeting or at least try to do so, because sometimes we do have those technology issues. If you have questions or comments, please share them in the chat. We'll be monitoring it. Speakers may also invite you to unmute at some point and share questions or thoughts during their programs. We have 2 breaks scheduled during the program, so we'll honor these, but we'll also keep the program moving. Even if we're ahead of schedule, we may stay ahead of schedule. And with that, I would like to introduce to you Dr. Patty McCarthy, who is Vice President for Enrollment Management at IUP, and Dr. Brigette Matson, Executive Director of Aaron Intermediate Unit 28, who will provide you opening remarks.
Great. Thank you, Tammy, and thank you to the Planning Committee for inviting me to talk to you all this morning. As Tammy said, I'm Patty McCarthy. I'm Vice President for Enrollment Management here at IUP. Here because I'm physically sitting here, which is a wonderful thing after a couple of years of not sitting in my office. As a parent, I realized that thinking about life after high school can be very stressful and frankly, at times overwhelming. And it wasn't so long ago that I was sitting in the same seats as you with a couple of kids looking at colleges and deciding what they wanted to do with the rest of their lives. There's so many paths available to students after high school. So I just wanted to take a few minutes and talk about some of the considerations that I feel are important when you're making those choices. At IUP, we talk to students every year about what factors they consider when deciding where to go to college or what to do after high school. Consistently, the top 3 things that students mention are academics, finances, and outcomes. And this hasn't changed for years. First and foremost, students need to think about the career they're actually interested in pursuing and what would make them happy, frankly. What is the best place for you to receive the education in that field, or what is the best path to set you up for future success and what you want to do? Those things need to be front and center of mind when considering next steps after high school. But also remember, it is okay to change your mind. For example, if college is the direction you believe or a student believes that they would like to take, think about the options at the colleges you're considering. Studies have shown that students change majors on average 3 times when they're in college. Yes, believe it or not, students don't go to school or whatever path they decide and stick to that path all the time. My daughter, I think, switched majors 4 times. That's another story for another day. When you're looking at schools or when your students are looking at schools, consider a school that has enough options of majors where you can seamlessly transition from one to another if you do change your mind. And it's okay to go to college as an undecided student. At IUP, we call those students explorers. You could enter our school and we would have you join our university college. Which would help guide you in deciding what makes most sense to you with your interests, your aptitudes, your goals, while taking enough courses and the right courses so you don't have to spend any more than your typical 4 years in college while deciding. And a lot of schools will give you those kinds of options. Another consideration that I mentioned is finances or affordability. Nobody wants a student to graduate college or trade school or whatever educational path the student goes down with so much debt that you're spending years trying to pay off that education. And I'm not saying that education isn't an investment worth making. It absolutely is. But be sure that the field of study that the student is planning to get into provides a good return on investment for that education that the student is pursuing. For example, here at IUP, because we've heard this from students so much, We've recently changed our tuition structure to provide a significant state savings to students, and that begins in the fall of 22. We heard students, it's hard to go to college, it's hard to stay in college, or whatever school that you're thinking about going to. But we've also invested over $16 million to provide scholarships for our students, sizable, renewable scholarships to help pay for college, and students can stay in college and graduate without that overwhelming debt after graduation. And take advantage of opportunities that might be offered through your high school, things such as dual enrollment or taking college courses while still in high school, or perhaps being able to take time to go to a technical school while in high school to start that training for you early. You may find, or your student may find, that they're graduating from high school with credits towards a degree already completed. At IUP, we have students who actually enter the university with one semester, maybe even more semesters of college completed before even stepping on campus as a matriculated undergraduate student. But depending on the dual enrollment program you choose, you can get a feel for that school or what you're considering doing early on. So if you are in a technical program, you might decide you do or don't like that trade or that field that you're interested in. But students taking dual enrollment credits really do give themselves a leg up on graduating potentially early, and sometimes at a less expense. For example, we do give a 75% tuition discount for students who are doing dual enrollment courses through IUP. Many students do decide to pursue their degrees at local community colleges as well, which is a great option for many students. And in a short amount of time, you'll have an associate's degree in hand. You'll have a degree in something that you can look for positions with. At that point, you could choose to enter the workforce, or students could choose to enter the workforce, or like some students transfer to a four-year degree program. You might even want to look for schools that have agreements with four-year schools. We've recently entered into an agreement with Westmoreland Community College, for example, that we dual admit students to Westmoreland and IUP, making a smooth transition for students. But there are other schools and other programs like that, and we're looking at other schools, community colleges, for those kind of great partnerships as well. But finally, take a look at what graduates and completers of the programs that your son or daughter, or if it's a student listening, you are considering after you graduate. And not just immediately after you graduate. Look 5 years out, 10 years out after graduation. Are those students doing something that the student can see him or herself doing in the future? Do employers seek out students from that school or program? You want to be able to see yourself. So the students want to be able to see themselves and know that while this journey to a career isn't easy, absolutely isn't. Nobody said it would be, but it's worth it in the end to achieve dreams. So in closing, I wish all of you the best of luck, both students and parents, but life after high school is certainly a transition, and it's also exciting. So dream big and do what your heart tells you to do. Thank you all, and I hope you enjoy this day. It looks like a wonderful program. Thank you all.
Good morning. My name is Brigette Matson. I'm the Executive Director at Aaron Intermediate Unit, and I would just like to thank the planning team, as well as a special thank you to Tammy Manko for all of her hard work in putting this program together. We know the best way to get students engaged in their learning is to get their learning tied to meaningful post-secondary goals. Students need help knowing what options they have available to them and access to pathway programs within their choice area of study. Career-connected learning helps students connect learning to the real world and develop the knowledge, skills, and mindset to enter work, career, and community life post-high school. A big part of this process is also helping parents to understand all options that are available and how to access the resources necessary to assist their student with getting set up for their life after high school. This program today has been designed for high school students and their parents and family members to advance career competencies and career pathway considerations of the students as they ready themselves for life after high school. These pathway options include career, college, trade school, career training, military, or whatever path they choose. The second purpose is to offer information to parents and family members regarding their students' pursuit of post-secondary training and education. The information in today's program is meant to break down barriers and bridge knowledge gaps for all involved so that students can effectively identify and successfully pursue the life and career path they desire. It is my honor and a real pleasure to bring this program to all of you today through a very strong collaborative effort between Indiana University of Pennsylvania and the Aaron Intermediate Unit. I hope you all find the sessions worthwhile and informative.